Your phone buzzes. You check it. It's not them. You wrote something in the group chat 20 minutes ago, and nobody's responded. Nobody's typing. And your chest tightens. Your mind starts running scenarios. Did I say something wrong? Are they talking about me right now without me? Are they laughing at something and deliberately not including me? That feeling you just recognized is 50,000 years old. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why your brain is still running code that was written for a world that doesn't exist anymore. Before we go further, drop a comment below. When's the last time you refreshed your phone just to check if someone replied? Be honest. I guarantee you're not the only one, and the reason why is stranger than you'd think. Let's go back to where this actually started. Imagine a group of 25 people. That's it. That's your entire world. No neighboring town 20 minutes away. No apps to meet new people. No solo survival option, because a human being alone in that environment without a group doesn't last long. Predators are faster than you. Injuries you can't treat alone will kill you slowly. Food isn't guaranteed every single day, which means some days you eat because someone shared with you, and some days someone eats because you shared with them. Every relationship in that circle of 25 people is a thread holding your survival together, and you don't get to choose most of those threads. You're born into them. Now imagine you did something the group didn't like. Maybe you broke a rule. Maybe you failed at something publicly, like a hunt that went wrong because of a decision you made. Maybe you just said the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person in front of everyone. And now people are talking in low voices near the fire. Nobody's quite looking at you. Nobody's explicitly said you're out, but you can feel it happening in real time, in the pauses, in the glances, in who sits near you and who doesn't. Quick guess before I tell you what actually happened in groups like this. Do you think exclusion like that was usually temporary, or could it become permanent? Drop your guess in the comments, because the real answer is far more brutal than most people expect. Here's the truth. In small hunter-gatherer bands, exclusion wasn't a metaphor. It was a resource cutoff. Anthropologists studying group dynamics in these environments have found that band sizes rarely exceeded a few dozen people, which means every single relationship mattered enormously, and there was no anonymous crowd to disappear into and start over. Losing your place in that group meant losing access to food-sharing networks that you depended on during lean periods. The weeks when your own hunting or foraging came up short, and someone else's surplus kept you alive. It meant losing physical protection, because a lone human without backup was exponentially more vulnerable to predators, to rival groups, to the simple bad luck of an injury with nobody around to help you back to camp. And it meant losing access to mates, because in a group that small, your reputation traveled fast, and it was essentially your entire dating pool. There was no next town over. There was no swiping to the next profile. There was this group, and if this group turned on you, your genetic future turned with it. So when your brain reacts to social rejection like it's a threat to your survival, that's because for the vast majority of human history, it was. If that reframes the way you've been thinking about your own reactions to being left on read, hit like. This is the exact kind of insight that gets buried by algorithms unless enough people flag it as worth seeing. Now here's where it gets interesting, because this isn't just a theory about ancient behaviors sitting in an anthropology textbook somewhere. Neuroscientists have actually looked inside the human brain in real time during social rejection, and what they found should stop you in your tracks. In one well-known study, researchers had participants play a simple ball-tossing game while inside a brain scanner, and then quietly excluded them from the game, having the other players stop passing to them. What lit up in their brains wasn't some vague emotional center. It was the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the same region that activates during physical pain, the same region that lights up when you stub your toe or burn your hand. Not a similar region, the same one. Your brain, on a neurological level, does not fully distinguish between a broken bone and a broken friendship. Being excluded from a pointless computer game with strangers triggered the same alarm system as physical injury, which tells you this response isn't optional, and it isn't something you're choosing. It's wired in at a level far below conscious thought. So let me ask you this. Knowing that, does it change how you think about the last time you felt overly hurt by something small, like an ignored text or a joke that didn't land the way you hoped? Tell me in the comments, because there's a decent chance you've spent years quietly blaming yourself for a reaction that was never actually a flaw to begin with. Once that pain response existed, evolution didn't stop there. It built an entire toolkit of behaviors on top of it, and you're using every single one of them today without realizing it. The first is conformity. If disagreeing too loudly or standing out too much risked your place in the group, then blending in became a survival strategy, not a personality trait. That's why disagreeing with a group, even a group of total strangers on the internet, still produces a small flicker of anxiety before you hit send. The second is gossip, and I don't mean that as an insult. Anthropologists studying group behavior have proposed that gossip functions as a kind of social surveillance system, a way for people to track who's trustworthy, who's cheating the group, who's rising, and who's falling in status, all without anyone needing a formal report. It's slow, distributed, constant monitoring, and it's exactly why you still care what people are saying about you behind your back. The third is status seeking, the drive to build a reputation, to be seen as valuable, competent, likable, because reputation was currency long before money existed. And the fourth is vigilance, that hyper-awareness of tone, of facial expressions, of the half-second pause before someone responds to you. That's not anxiety malfunctioning. That's an ancient detection system doing exactly what it was built to do, scanning constantly for the earliest possible sign that you're losing your place in the group. Here's what nobody tells you about all of this, though. This wiring didn't stay in the past. It came forward with you, fully intact, into a world it was never designed for. You are not living in a group of 25 people anymore. You're living in a world with billions of potential connections, and yet every notification, every like count, every read receipt, every scene without a reply still gets processed by that same ancient alarm system built for tribal survival. Researchers studying online ostracism have run experiments where people are excluded by players they know are computer-controlled bots, not even real humans, and the participants still report genuine emotional distress. Your brain can't tell the difference between a life-threatening tribal exile and a stranger not liking your post, because the hardware running underneath both experiences is exactly the same. And that leads somewhere most people don't expect. This system, the one causing you anxiety over unanswered texts, is also the reason human beings cooperate at all. It's the reason you keep promises, show up for people, apologize when you've hurt someone, and work to maintain relationships even when it's inconvenient. The same fear of rejection that makes you overthink a text message is the exact mechanism that built trust, alliances, and cooperation between early humans who had every reason to be selfish and weren't. Without this wiring, there's no tribe, no shared parenting, no group hunting, no passing down of survival knowledge. The discomfort you feel is the cost of belonging to a species that survived by sticking together. So every time you've reread a message 5 times before sending it, every time you've replayed an awkward conversation at 2 in the morning, every time silence after you spoke felt unbearable, that's not a flaw in you. That's 50,000 years of survival strategy still running, still trying to keep you inside the group. Because for most of human history, the group was the only thing standing between you and the dark. Rejection doesn't feel like an inconvenience. It feels like death, because for nearly all of human history, it was. And once you see that wiring for what it actually is, the anxious checking, the overthinking, the silence that feels too loud, it stops feeling like something broken in you and starts feeling like something ancient in you, doing exactly the job it was built to do. If this changed how you think about your own patterns, let me know in the comments which one hit closest to home, and stick around, because next we're going even deeper into how this same wiring shapes who you choose to trust.